I decided to tell you a Christmas story to share with you about an event that happened when we were youngsters uh, many years ago. There were several of us at home who were still very young, just young children, and of course we had older siblings. But we had definitely certain traditions that we followed every year. And one of them was that the home would be decorated in the dining room and the ceilings with bells and things, all kinds of Christmas things. And the tree would be put up and all this. But then on Christmas Eve, we children were given, each one of us, a shoe box. That's right, a shoe box, not stockings, a shoe box. It used to be, they would be about this big and this long and that wide, and you can imagine what a shoe box would be, pretty big. They were rather nice size. And our name was written on a little piece of paper and put in the shoe box so that Santa would make sure he made sure he got everybody, and of course Mom and Dad also. And then in the middle of the dining room table, which was a round table, near the window, which had beautiful pink curtains, lace curtains, they would put the special Christmas tablecloth on, and also put the shoe boxes in a circle around, pardon me, around the big glass bowl on a stem in the middle. And then we would, we children would pick out cookies and put it on a plate and set a place for Santa to have a lunch of cookies and milk when he came. Make sure he wouldn't be hungry. Isn't any wonder you were so fat. Anyway, then we would be sent off to bed real early at 9 o'clock and told that we were not to get up until the next morning when Dad heated up the house and got the fires going and called us to come downstairs. Now the Christmas tree was also decorated before Christmas and in the parlor though, and the gifts would be under the Christmas tree. But the treats Santa was going to leave us would be in those shoe boxes. And it all depended how good we were during the year. If we were very good, then Santa would give us lots in the shoe box. If not, we wouldn't get as much. And we surely didn't want to see that happen. So we were pretty good and got even better at behaving and doing our chores and things a couple of months before Christmas. So then we would be put off to bed and we would have a hard time to get to sleep, and finally, being children and tired and excited and everything, we would go to sleep. Then all too soon we would hear Dad getting up and going down to the big furnace in the basement and starting the fire in the furnace, and then going into the kitchen area of the house and starting the fire in the stove there to heat up the house. Well, it was a mighty long wait from that time till the time he came to the bottom of the stairs and called out for us to come downstairs, to get up. And when he did, we would all bolt for those stairs, no matter how many of us were upstairs. So usually there were 4 or 5 of us. And we would come down those stairs like you would just see little bare feet going, And the first place we would head for would be the dining room where the treats were supposed to have been left. And every Christmas, the boxes were full. And those things were things that we never had during the year. We never had chocolate, candy. We never had apples, like different apples. We had winter apples, and we didn't have oranges during the year. We didn't have different sort of things. And of course, Christmas time, there were many different types of candy that we were looking forward to. And some of those was chocolates, mostly the chocolates. And then there were all sort of nuts like hazelnuts and Brazil nuts and cashews and whatever, in with the candies. And the candies would be like cream candies, um, what we used to call barley toys, which were actually very hard candy in different colors, formed into animals, like, you know, little animals: sheep, cows, horse, colt, dog, cat. And they would be rather big, and they were very, very hard, so we would have to just sort of, you couldn't crunch them with your teeth. I don't know what they were made of, but they tasted really nice, and we wanted those also, and then we'd look for those. And we always had them. And then there was the ribbon candies, and then the Christmas candies, the hard Christmas candies, and there were those that tasted and looked like slices of bananas, thick slices of bananas. We called the banana candies. That's what we called them anyway. And all the different, of course, things that were in the box we never had. And of course, the big treat was too, the special treat was coconuts, real coconuts. Dad would break them open and share the coconut milk with us, and also the meat. So it was really nice, because when you came downstairs, being a child and all excited, your eyes would be really big, and you'd be all so excited and just jumping up and down, and you would want, and your heart was pounding, and you would want to get to the box and see if you got everything. And but one Christmas, my younger brother, our younger brother, he was younger than I am. But he decided he had had enough of all this waiting, and he was particularly fond of chocolates, and he always felt that he wasn't given enough chocolates. He wanted more chocolates. So of course we all got everything equal, so we couldn't quarrel over it or be unhappy. So, unawares to everybody, he stayed awake that Christmas Eve, and waited until he was sure that all the folks in the family were asleep and they wouldn't hear him. And he thought, well, if he could get downstairs and check his box to see if he had some chocolates before Santa, or right after Santa came, he'd be pretty safe. And he figured Santa would come around 1 o'clock in the morning, according to what, Mom and Dad would say. But anyway, he waited and waited. And when he was pretty sure everything was quiet, there was not a boo in the house, not a sound, he got up and he creeped to the top of the stairs, and he was mighty frightened that Santa might still be there. So he got himself down where he could see the Christmas tree from the stairs and checked that out, and Santa wasn't there. So he figured, and then the gifts were there. So he figured then he was pretty safe that Santa would probably have done the boxes and the candy treats first. So he went down very carefully and out into the dining room, and the thing was that the main bedroom, master bedroom, was off the dining room. But the door was closed, and he checked around, and the lamp had been turned down on the table and left a light in the dining room. And he tiptoed over to his box, and he looked there, and there was 3 chocolates. Oh, and then he started to check out the others, including mine, and his mom and dad's. And there was 3 chocolates in each one. And he couldn't resist. He took up one of the chocolates and he tasted it. And after he ate his 3 chocolates, he tiptoed around the table and ate every chocolate in every box. Now that was, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes with 3 chocolates each in them. He ate them all. And then silently crept upstairs and went back to bed. Well, to say that he got some sleep would not be the right thing to say, because he didn't. after he was in bed a little while, it wasn't his conscience that was bothering him, it was his tummy. But he didn't want to tell anyone he was sick. So he stayed there, and then in the morning, when Dad called us downstairs, he came down, but he lagged behind a little bit. He wasn't as energetic and fast as the rest of us. And so when we got to the boxes, we certainly right away noticed that there was no chocolates. They used to be sitting right on top of the other candies and things. So we checked everybody's box out, and there wasn't one chocolate in the box anywhere, including my brother's. So Dad looked around at all of us and could see the disappointment on our faces. Of course, we thought Santa had deliberately found something about us that he didn't like, and he punished us and to teach us a lesson by not leaving any chocolates. But we all felt sort of good because, in a way, every one of us didn't have chocolates. So, and not only one. And anyway, so we had Christmas, but of course my brother didn't eat any breakfast, and he didn't eat any Christmas dinner because he was having a tummy ache, a chocolate tummy ache. And he was learning a lesson that it was not nice to be greedy and to actually take things belong to others. But Mom and Dad figured that that was enough punishment for him, so they let it go. However, there was then the old Christmas, we used to call it, on the 6th of January coming up. And the tradition at that time was that we would put out a little dish on the table with our names on it, in the dish, on a piece of paper, and a sandman or the snowman would come, and if we were very good, and he would give us a little bag of gold raisins. That's right, gold-colored raisins to eat. And that was our treat for that day. But if you had done something that you thought you had gotten away with, you ended up with a very dry, hard prune in your little dish. Well, on that morning, we would come downstairs, not as energetic as on Christmas morning and as rapid, but we came down, and all the other of us had the golden raisins. And my little brother, who had taken and eaten all the chocolate and gotten such a tummy ache and had no sympathy from anybody on Christmas Day, had a very dry, wizzled, wrinkled old prune in his dish. So he knew right away that Santa knew what he had done. And so he had sent the snowman, or sometimes we called him the sandman, to put the prune in his dish. And that's the moral of the story. On Christmas Day, Santa sees everything, and Christmas night, and he watches everyone. That's what we were following as our traditions when I was a little girl of about 5 years old. And my brother was about a year or so younger than I am. It's a long time ago. So I thought I would share that with you. And I think I'd call it the stomach ache or tummy ache Christmas for my brother. Bless his heart. He sleeps now in peace. But it's nice to be able to share this story and to go back and to enjoy in memory and share it with you how Christmas was for us in our family as little children. Merry Christmas.